Here we go, gang. Our first big unit of the year, Unit 5, Ancient Greece. This is the Part 1 notes, and as you know, as you flip through your note packet, there are 7 parts total, so we got a lot of stuff to cover in the next few weeks. Okay, so here we go. Where is Greece? Where is Greece on the map here? Here you can see Africa, Europe, and most of Asia. Alright, here's Greece up here, right smack dab in the middle of the Mediterranean, very close to the Black Sea. Asia Minor, the Persian Empire, right over here. See a zoomed in view, as well as a global view of where it fits in. Okay, geography of Greece. The rugged terrain of ancient Greece helped / hindered the development of independent city-states, also known as a polis. So in some ways it was beneficial, in other ways it was not. It definitely kept things separated. You can see here through the topography, you've got all kinds of things, different types: mountains, seas, peninsulas, harbors, islands, straits, which we'll get to all this stuff labeling here on our maps. Balkan Peninsula, Peloponnesus Peninsula. Okay, again, the mountains, you can see kind of jutting out, okay, from the topography of Greek. The mountains, the city-states formed south of the mountains or in the valleys between them. So, as you'll see coming up here, here's another satellite photo. Here's Greece here. Okay, you can see the very mountainous, hilly, rugged terrain, and your city-states would form in these valleys. So that's one way it kind of helped offer protection, obviously, but it also hurt the unification of all these city-states, which would later come into play when they had to go to war against the Persian Empire. Because they were isolated, Greek city-states had their own distinct culture, and you can see this here. Excuse me. Here are the Greek city-states, or some of them, or most of them, and they were not united. Okay, they did have some common features, common cultural features like language, and things like that, but for the most part, they were still not unified. So because they were isolated, Greek city-states had their own distinct culture. This isolation also prevented unification of the Greek city-states. The Greek city-states were located around the Aegean Sea, near the Mediterranean Sea. So up here, this body of water is the Aegean Sea. Down here, we have the Mediterranean Sea. Okay, Aegean Sea right here. Very beautiful landscapes. Many of the Greek city-states developed trading fleets to trade with the surrounding areas. Greeks, like the Phoenicians, were seafaring people. So when you live by the sea, going back up to a couple of these shots here, okay, you are going to make your living around the water. So there were a lot of, fishermen was a popular job to have back then as well. They had limited agricultural resources, so trade was necessary. So they were interdependent on other city-states as well as other places around the Mediterranean region. The soil of ancient Greece was poor and not good for agriculture. Greece had limited arable, which means fertile, farmland, or land in general. Okay, the land in ancient Greece, well, in Greece today even, is not ideally suited for farming. It's very rocky, doesn't have the greatest nutrient-rich soil, which some of the other river valley civilizations had, and Greece was not formed around a river valley. Okay. This section of your notes, as it says, you're not going to be tested on this. This is just a little bit more background information, so look it over. Some really cool arts and cultural features here. Greece is very cultural rich, and architecture, art, just some very cool things. So I'm just going to go through these. All right. And again, art representing their way of life. And all these works were done during, the times of ancient Greece. These are some of the early Greek warriors, the Minoans. This is one of their key cities, Knossos. Another cool painting. Some artifacts, pottery, metalworking, jewelry. This is actually the tomb of where they buried their kings, and obviously they filled those tombs with riches, gold pieces, any other valuables. These are the Mycenaeans, who were another group of people that came after the Minoans. Mycenaean artifacts, again, metalworking. This is a cool little octopus here, some type of ornament or jewelry piece. Okay, very stylized weaponry. All right, ancient Greece. The social structure and citizenship in the Greek polis. Our social structure and citizenship took place in the Greek polis. And polis is Greek for city-state, like metropolis, like a big city. Citizens, free adult males, had political rights and the responsibility of civic participation in government. Women and foreigners had no political rights. So men pretty much were running the show. And you can see in here, in this picture here, there are no women, just men. Slaves had no political rights. Slavery was not based on race in ancient Greece. So many, again, like many ancient civilizations, slavery was based on a variety of factors. They could be prisoners of war or debt slaves who could not repay a debt or something that they owed to somebody else. Greece really relied on colonies, letter E, because of lack of good farmland, and things got crowded very quickly. Overcrowding, lack of arable farmland made overcrowding a major problem. So they had to establish colonies, which you can see here. Here is this orange area is Greece, so people kind of spread out through here. This island right here is called Crete, and this is where the early civilizations of Minoa and Mycenae originated. When we were just looking at those mini slides of the pictures, that's where those pictures originated, on the island of Crete here. And they also established colonies, okay, to get resources that they did not have or could not grow. So you had cultural and economic diffusion, which basically means the spread of the Greek way of life, the Greek economy, bartering, trading, using coins, as well as Greek culture. Okay, people obviously over here spoke the Greek language, believed in the Greek gods and goddesses, etc. The spread of colonies spread Hellenic Greek culture throughout the Aegean and into the Mediterranean. So obviously it starts here in the Aegean Sea and spreads throughout the Mediterranean. Trade. As trade increased, Greeks shifted from a barter economy based on trade to a money economy with coins. And these are some of the early coins that the Greeks traded with. So originally, like most societies, they started out trading, exchanging goods, one good for another, and then they just went to a money system. They obviously there was some bartering that still took place, but money was starting to be used. Here's another shot of ancient Greece and the colonies. Okay, so they were pretty busy setting up these colonies throughout the Mediterranean. And that's pretty much it. And this is kind of the intro part of our unit on Greece. So we'll get into greater detail and talk about a lot of people that you're going to have to know in the coming days, coming blocks. So if you have any questions, again, write them down. Get your summary complete. You do not get credit for your notes without your summary. And I will see you guys back here in the next class.